My lords, ladies and gentlemen, it's profile time. Now, this week is Paul Jewell's birthday. But that's not why we're here. Alright? Because someone else has a birthday this week, don't they, Jim?
Loads of people will.
Get on that, beamer.
Yeah.
More specifically, Roma's greatest ever player, Francesco Totti.
Hey.
Don't hijack
I'm
it.
only joking. Francesco Totti, eh?
There you go. Born on the 27th of September, 1976.
9 years after the Summer of Love.
After that summer.
Yeah.
Roma's greatest ever player. Are we happy with that?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Definitely.
Good, then we can continue. He does hold the records for the most appearances and most goals for Roma, so shove that up your what's-it for starters.
With a rusty one.
Exactly. His nicknames include the Golden Boy, the Big Baby.
Is that because he always sucks his thumb when he scores?
Yeah, maybe. Or was that a reaction to it?
Who knows? Do you remember? I don't want to jump the gun too much, but when he scored after his baby was born, and he put the football up his shirt and gave birth to it and held it up.
Yeah.
Up there, I'm going to stick my neck out here and say top 5 celebrations of all time.
Yeah.
The placenta was a bit much, though, to be fair.
well,
I don't even know where he got that from.
He held it for ages. In a jar.
We can skip that bit now when we come to it. The Gladiator as well is another
nice.
but that standards there from Rome and all the rest of it. The David Beckham of Italy.
Any excuse to shoehorn it in. Any excuse.
Getting weird.
I am the David Beckham of B-Jam. Just stack those fucking boxes, Paul, alright?
Oh dear. Now, people often ask footballers, what would you be if you weren't a footballer? Well, Totti was asked this and by journalist James Horncastle, and he said, if I hadn't have been a footballer, I would have liked to have become a petrol pump assistant. When I was little, it was wonderful to smell the petrol fumes and see those guys handle so much money.
Just buy a can of petrol.
Yeah. Well, thankfully, he had a bit more ambition and talent.
You almost certainly earn more now than you would have done had you
get
become a
drug
petrol
tested
pump
for huffing
assistant.
petrol.
He's saying it like he's looking forward to doing that when he retires.
Yeah.
Like he's aspiring to that.
Yeah, well, I suppose I had to settle for being a footballer.
Yeah. No, it's just a stopgap. It's not really a career. I really want to be a petrol pump assistant.
Yeah.
Glow sniffer.
As a child, he slept with the ball, apparently.
How do footballers do that? Like John Burridge.
Yeah, but John Burridge, yeah. He used to, apparently. That perhaps the only place where the two are comparable. Anyway, so Totti joined the youth setup at Roma in 1989. Apparently Milan offered him a lucrative contract around this time, but his mother said, no, you're playing for your local team, your hometown, which fortunately was Roma. And thus Totti didn't go up north to the Rossoneri. In 1993 he made
up north to Milan.
he
Down the mill.
Milan.
Yeah, liking your work.
Yeah, it works.
1993 he made his Roma debut, age 16. Scored his first senior goal for the club in 94.
Gosh, it's like an awful long time ago now.
An awful long time ago. Now, after he scored his first goal for Roma, he said he had dreamt many times of that moment and trying to come up with a way to celebrate, and he said, instead, after I scored, I didn't know what to do. When I got home, the only thing I could think about was being hungry, so I went out with my brother and got an ice cream.
Oh.
Yeah?
Is
that
really nice?
It sort of reminds me of when Rooney scored his first goal for Everton and then went out and celebrated by going to play with his mates on his BMX.
Yeah.
Because he was only like 16.
Yeah. It's quality, isn't it?
Sweet. Isn't his brother, he's got a twin brother, isn't he, that's also his agent, I think.
Oh, is that right?
Oh, right, I didn't know that.
Oh, speaking of which, I totally forgot this. I used to play for Guildford Saints in Surrey, and we had a lad on our team.
It's not your profile.
Hang on a minute.
Guildford Saints!
Which was our theme tune. And a lad who used to play fullback was Totti's stunt double for all the adverts.
Was he a good player?
Yeah, he was quite decent. We used to go all over the
You'd hope so,
all
wouldn't you?
over the world. Totti's stunt double.
Good.
I feel like I met the man. He was predominantly a striker, or a sort of a second striker, but also kind of an attacking midfield player. But his position changed over the years. I think we can agree.
Yeah. But I think even now, Totti, it's not that his position changed as much, it's just that he can change it at will. You know, he's just really good in a lot of different positions.
Yeah, exactly.
And the game changed, so he had to adapt, though.
Well, Marcello Lippi said that there's no alternatives for Totti. No one else can play Totti's position.
Well, yeah, it's difficult to. I mean, because like you say, he is a slightly different player now to what he was. But I mean, those sort of players have been sort of phased out anyway, haven't they? In Europe, they have anyway, to a certain extent.
Not on the big man.
No, true. Yeah,
35 still going strong.
Yeah,
I know what you mean, though. I mean, he's played out on the wing, sometimes up front on his own, second striker, but it shows he's very tactically aware.
But even as a second striker, he'll come and get the ball.
Yeah.
Won't he?
I think
he'll still be bringing other people
Utility man.
Utility man. I think people think that he's quite a lazy player at times, but actually he's vital. He's not a luxury player.
No.
Well, the classic example of him being a team player is in World Cup 2006.
Yeah.
Well, he didn't. He scored one goal, I think.
That was a penalty.
But he didn't do an awful lot. But he really worked hard for the team.
I think he had the most assists at that World Cup.
Oh, there you go.
So it just bears that out.
Yeah.
Or when he booted Balotelli in the back of the leg.
Classic.
That was a bad moment in the man's career. A good moment in his career, 99, he scored a late winner in the Rome derby, and he celebrated by lifting up his shirt with a T-shirt under it which said, "I've purged you guys again."
Oh, nice.
So I think it's quite nice. Of course,
which would have endeared him immediately to the Roma fans.
yeah, exactly. Of course, you mentioned the pregnant celebration.
Yeah.
He was named Young Player of the Season in 98-99, but I suppose it was Euro 2000 that we got to see him on the big stage, and the world got to see what a great player he was.
He sums up sort of post-football Italian football for me.
Yeah.
Post James Richardson, PJR,
yeah.
PJR.
Yeah.
Good word, Matt.
I'll continue. Obviously, Italy finished second at that World Cup. He scored a couple en route to the final. Do you remember the penalty shootout against Holland in the semi-final? When I think it was the decisive kick. Massive pressure in the Ajax arena.
Little dinker.
Yeah,
That's
outrageous.
But he did that again and it got saved. Do you remember? Yeah, he did it. I can't.
Oh, was that a Serie A game?
Yeah, and he tried the dinker, and the keeper knew exactly what he was doing, and he just stood there and caught it in his hand.
First rule of dink is, for the dinko penalty, the first rule is have a massive pair of bollocks. The second rule is never go back, never do it again.
Yeah. He does love a chip in general, though, doesn't he, Totti?
Well, the chip he scored against Lazio when they hammered him 5. I think it was the last goal of the game.
Glorious.
Didn't someone score 4 in that game? I want to say Montella, but I might be wrong. But anyway, he scored the 5th, and the keeper was well off his line. He's about 30 yards out, chip.
Oh, Felipe Albert was applauding that one.
Yeah, I think he had something on his T-shirt then as well, but I can't remember what it was.
Are you watching Felipe Albert?
Yeah.
In the final he was man of the match against France. I totally forgot that actually, but that was when we saw him. Great hair.
Oh yeah, wonderful.
Throughout his career, really. Throughout his career. During the 2000-2001 season, Capello built the team around Totti, and they won the league. They only won the league once with Roma, but incredible achievement, really. Considering how that country's been dominated by Milan. And
can I interest you in a front three of Batistuta, Montella, with Totti just behind?
I'm interested.
Yeah, Batistuta, they signed him for loads of money, and he brought him the title. He scored like 20 goals that season, Batistuta. But they, I think they beat Inter 3-2 in an amazing game that season as well. But it's worth pointing out, although he's only won 1 Scudetto with Roma, he has actually finished running up 6 times.
He has, yeah.
So he's not as though he's.
But I'm so glad that they've won it though.
Yeah, I mean it's the equivalent. He's almost the equivalent of Steven Gerrard in Italy. You know, that real one-club man who's determined to win it with his team. Except Totti did it. You know, and even that he's not done it again. That's so good that he has that dual.
The only
sort of crown of his career.
The only difference with that though is that Liverpool also obviously won an awful lot of titles. Roma haven't won that many in their history. I don't think.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, they've won the sort of Coppa Italia once or twice with him, but it's interesting what you say, Jimbo, about him being a one sort of show man. I mean, Totti, he's been a world-class player for Roma for years, and he had the chance to go to Real Madrid or maybe Milan as well, where he would have won more things, played with greater players, but he stayed at Roma, and they've not had too many world-class players. There's some brilliant players, but he's been so important to that team.
I was trying to think of other players they've had that would genuinely be seen as world-class over the years, playing alongside Totti. The only players I could think of were Cafu,
Batistuta.
Batistuta, but he was only there for a year.
Yeah, he was.
Aldair, remember him?
Well, they retired the number 6 jersey for
Aldair, have they? And who else was I going to say?
Baptista?
De Rossi more recently, but I mean he's not really, he's probably not up there with those but there's no doubt in my mind if Totti had gone to whatever, Barcelona or Madrid or something, he would be absolutely heralded completely.
Yeah, totally.
Well, I mean, you look at his status with the national team, and he's heralded anyway.
Remember, he was touting himself for the squad last summer.
2010.
Hadn't bothered helping out of any of the qualifications. I still fancy it though. I still fancy it, Lippy, if you're interested.
Yeah, that'd have been superb.
Just the final.
Yeah, I've just gone for the final, yeah.
I'll take a penalty.
Yeah.
I'll chip it and all.
So as we said earlier, he played as a second striker for a long time, but then under Luciano Spalletti, he kind of deployed Totti as a lone striker, kind of I suppose like a false nine kind of position.
This is the season when they didn't really play any strikers.
Like 4-6-0.
Yeah.
But he was like the furthest man up the field. But that's, oddly enough, in 2007, he finished as Serie A's top goal scorer in that formation, and the European Golden Shoe as well.
I was reading...
That's ridiculous.
It's great, yeah, it's great. I was reading what Michael Cox of Zone Marking had to say about Totti, and he pointed out, rightly, that that season. That's the season they lost 7-1 to United in the Champions League, but it's also the season they beat Inter 6-2 in the cup final. So it was like this amazing formation with just all these ridiculous score lines, because apparently it can be undone. That formation can. Spalletti, I think, found out that formation can be undone quite easily if you defend very deep or whatever, and you can pick them off. But Totti would almost drop really deep to get the ball, and make those late runs into the box, wouldn't they? I remember he scored quite a few goals in that way.
But they were really exciting that season. They were an unusual side for Italian football. They were very direct, very very attacking, and just sort of.
They played
the flair.
Beautiful football, yeah, absolutely. He's currently the Serie A's top goal scorer, still active goal scorer, 5th all time in the league history with 207 goals. Again, for a guy who's not played as a kind of a proper striker.
Do you reckon if he had played as a proper striker for his whole career, he'd be amazing?
It's hard to say, isn't it? Because
he probably wouldn't have been lauded quite so much as well.
Would just be a goal scorer.
Yeah.
But that's the player he is. He's learnt how to play in various positions. I'm sure that would have kind of broadened his tactical horizons, shall we say?
You'll come on to him winning the World Cup in a minute, but in 2002, would he have been sent off by that referee?
He was.
Yes, it was
Ecuadorian referee.
Yeah. In the game against South Korea.
Game,
Interesting.
Indeed. So yes, of course, 2006 World Cup.
Don't forget him spitting at Christian Poulsen in Euro 2004 as well.
He's a bit of a hothead, Totti. I mean, he's very much calmed down as he's got older, as people do. But he's also got like. Hasn't he got a couple of joke books out?
He has,
something really weird like that.
Well, he's a goodwill ambassador for UNICEF. Does a lot of work with them, and there was two big selling joke books that a lot of the proceeds went to UNICEF and charities and whatnot. And there were jokes sort of about, I don't know if they were about his teammates or from his teammates or something. But it's an odd one, very odd one.
I find it. I mean, because we're notoriously especially us around this table, we can only speak one language, so it's difficult to imagine people who speak in other languages being like. It's hard to gauge what their sense of humour is like. Like and I sort of always think of Totti as being quite a serious bloke. And takes a very, very seriously.
Very dignified man.
Yeah, that sort of thing.
Well, so it's knowing it is Europe and it is Italy, it's probably incredibly right wing.
No, Lazio are the right wing club in Rome. Rome haven't got a reputation for that at all.
Come on, leave them out.
Come on.
Hey.
Berlusconi, come on.
He did 2006 World Cup, of course. Fantastic scenes, and he started, I think, every game.
Yeah, I remember him getting subbed off after about an hour in the final, though.
Yeah, he did, yeah.
He came off for Quinta or I might have been De Rossi, actually.
His work was done.
But he played in the playmaker. They used like a 4-3-1-2 or like a 4-4-1-1, and Totti played sort of as a playmaker role. But he only scored one goal, but the goal he did score was the penalty, as you said,
against
Jim.
Australia.
But he put the ball in for Grosso to win that penalty, which, probably wasn't a penalty, but it was a great pass, and Grosso beat the fullback and got brought down. And Totti stepped up. 95th minute as well, a knockout game in the World Cup. Didn't think that one, did he? No, he rifled it.
Indeed, and then as we mentioned earlier, in 2010 he won the Golden Foot Award, so his footprints will forever be on the Champions Promenade in Monaco.
He was named in the team of the tournament in World Cup 2006.
Oh yeah,
as a midfielder,
very much so. And I'll leave the last words to Daniel De Rossi, the teammate of Totti. Totti is a treasure for Roma. He's the greatest player of all time after Roberto Baggio. Slightly biased, but in comes Francesco Totti.